So all of you, welcome. I spoke with some of you, if they are there, earlier last week, and there was a need that people wanted to join some of the free PMP discussions, which would enable people to do PMP preparation. So this is one step towards reaching to all of you who would need some push, some help in getting towards PMP certification. I would assume that you have either read some of the theory, or you would be how many of you are beginners? You can click on the type on the chat window, or you can write there's a icon emoji wherein you can do a thumbs up. If you're a beginner, just do a thumbs up. If you don't know anything about PMP, just do a thumbs up. If you know or you've been practicing, you can type on the chat window that you've been practicing. So there are one or two beginners out here. Okay, I see one. Okay, so the idea is that I should come out with whatever help which can be arranged in 1 hours of meetups. We're gonna get into a lot of discussions. We next time onwards, if you are regular in the group, we can discuss what is the topic which needs to be taken next week. Because this is the first session of its type, earlier we discussed the PMP eligibility and what are PMP questions and things like that in the previous one. If you are interested to see that session, or what is the PMP exam, I would be able to share that link to all of you in the PMP LinkedIn group. So just have a eye on the past PMP in 21 days LinkedIn group. So this is the first session, as I said. Why are we here? We would be meeting weekly, same time, same date. So Mondays, 7 to 8 p.m. That's what I'm hoping to achieve. To help you pass the PMP exam in 21 days is the reason why there's a smiley, because if we are starting today and it's a weekly session, it would be difficult to meet the 21 days because I would take some time to complete the entire theory itself. But you can. Most of my students have passed the PMP exam within a month. You can as well. So what is that which we're going to talk about? We're going to be talking about the new PMP exam, which is, the new ECO. Some of you may not know what is ECO. ECO is the, PMP exam is based on some kind of syllabus. So what is that syllabus? ECO stand for Examination Content Outline. So if you search for PMP ECO 2022, the last outline which was released by PMP was 2021. That's where you're gonna see, what skill set I'm gonna be assessed on. So, the sessions which we're gonna be getting into and the topics which we would discuss is based on the current ECO. It will help you to pass the current PMP exam. Some of you might probably would have this question as to when is the new ECO coming, or when is the PMP exam changing. It's not on the horizon. I don't see it happening for next 2 years or so. So don't worry about it. We have 2021 ECO, which is prevailing as of now. So we're going to be working towards you passing the PMP exam. We would not be having a discussion on, basic project management, or my organization does project management like this. I would not be talking about templates and stuff like that in these sessions, just to set the expectation. So what are the course tools? We're going to be talking and discussing everything on the same Zoom call. I will publish the Zoom call for all of you on the LinkedIn page. So please ensure that you have access to the LinkedIn page. Join the page called Pass PMP in 21 days. Here I would be putting all the notification and the URLs, all the discussions. This meeting is getting recorded, so we would be, I would be posting the link of this recording as well on the YouTube and on LinkedIn. Offline, the expectation would be that you should have a book called, you should have some study material to read from. Now, it could be any book wherein you can go and refer, or it could be one of the book called PMP Study Guide. The study guide looks like this: Pass PMP in 21 Days Study Guide. Either this is not mandatory, you can go and buy any book, whichever one you have. The idea is that you should have something to go back and do questions from, or do the theory from. We start on time. I apologize for today. We start on time. Everybody's going to be a headphones. We prepare beforehand. Any questions you can type on the chat window. I have this habit of giving homework, so I might give you homework. In case while I'm speaking, you have any question, you can type on the chat window, because my assumption is the group gonna grow big over a period of time. This is the first session, but if you have questions, I would want it to be interactive. You can speak, but in case we are bigger in number of people, then it's always advisable that you type your questions. Any question anybody has? Any discussion? Anyone? Okay. So for today's session, I'm going to be talking about this book called PMP Study Guide. This is the current version which is in the market. You can buy this from Amazon in your country, anywhere. So it has a lot of topics. The initial topics or the basics before we start off drilling into different things that you need to understand is what is the basic difference between project and operations. So I'm going to be talking about this. This is very, very important for you to understand. We will pick up an example and talk about this. The next topic today, I would want to talk about EF and OPA. These are two topics which I definitely want to talk about, and maybe we touch upon few more topics over a period, over this point of time. And you can also type on the, the chat window in case you have few more topics in your mind. Rajesh has a question: how many classes are intended designed for this to complete session? We are sitting on the first session, Rajesh. I really don't know how many sessions would be required. This is a free session. Any topic, if let's say tomorrow you come up with a topic saying that, I want to do risk management, and all of you vote for risk management, I'll do that. So I'm at your mercy. I'll do whatever you would want me to cover on the PMP. So there's no design as such. If you go with my design, I'll go with, basics, and then next week we do agile and so on. So hopefully we should be able to complete everything if we go with my pace, somewhere around 10 to 12 weeks. Does that answer your question? Okay, so project, why do we do project? There are organizations are structured to do certain work. So the senior management would try and structure people get together to achieve a vision or the objective. So here, based on the vision or mission of the organization, there are portfolios, there are programs, there are keywords. What is the difference between portfolio and program? You should be able to understand that. Based on all of that, we do work which is done only for some time, or we do ongoing work. So we'll get into that discussion as to what is project and operation, where does project and operation fits in, why and how my senior management select the projects. They may be, think of you may have a lot of money. Let's say you got your increment or you got your annual bonus. So where would you want to put your money in? Do you want to buy that car? Do you want to buy that flat? or do you want to go for vacations? So similarly, the senior management have different projects to select from. So how do they select projects? That is the topic here. Um, Based on the kind of work my organization has, my senior management, the CEO, CFOs, can can structure the organization in different way. So organization can be projectized or matrix or functional. Details are, so these are the sections which I'm talking about from the book. Why do we have project phases? What is PMO? I will pick it up today itself. And then, as I said, we're going to be discussing OPAs and EFs. So, what is the difference between both of them? PDCA and project life cycle, I have certain YouTube videos. I'll direct you towards that. So what is a project and what is operation? So we are only 12 people right now, so we can discuss. What do you think is a project and operation? You can talk or you can type on the chat window. Anything is fine. Chat window is good in case what is a project and what is operations? I'm waiting for you people to say something. Nobody wants to say anything. Okay. See, if you look at the keywords here, a project is temporary. Okay. A project has a start date and an end date. So project has a start date and an end date. A project creates a unique offering, wherein an operation is something which is ongoing. So if you talk about, let's say, today's session, you joining today's session and preparing for the PMP exam, is that a project or is that an operation? You can type on the chat window. Am I audible? Can you guys hear me? It's a project for you guys. Okay. Me doing this session, which I've been doing maybe, from last 5 to 10 years, is that project or operation for me? Because I've done it on LinkedIn today for the first time, is it a project or operation? If I'm doing it for the first time on LinkedIn, then it became project for me as well. But if I've been doing on the similar, similar type of tools and similar type of places, then it becomes operations for me. So same event can be a project or operation based on the kind of person or entity who's doing it. Why do we differentiate between both? Because if I'm doing something for the first time, then I need to really understand what can go wrong in whatever I'm doing for the first time. And that is why projects would need more planning, because I'm doing it for the first time. That's the sorry about that, because I'm doing it for the first time. So risks are more. There are unknown or uncertainties which are more when I do project. If I'm doing it all the time, I know I've been, what are the questions people are gonna ask? How does a tool works? What is the theory I'm gonna teach? So I know all the SOPs, and I probably would have put in that in certain register or knowledge management repository. What is SOPs? Standard operating procedures. So if you are working in operations, you know what can go wrong, and there are ways. There are first liners, or there are people who are on the help desk. They would have certain answers to what can go wrong. So, and then there are second line in command, and then there are change requests. So even operations, if you look at it, there are things which can go wrong. You would try and solve them using SOPs. In case they do not get solved, they get escalated. And then in case there is some change required, that change request gonna be encountered and taken as a project. So operations also would have some bit of projects. Any questions here? So let's see. There are these questions on your screen. You might want to.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
This SOP will be like more in terms of project objective kind of thing, or will it be
SOPs
like
is
what are
standard operating procedures? SOPs are for operations and not for projects.
only for operation related?
Typically, yes.
Even before taking up a project, how do we plan and all stuff?
No. For project, we create a project plan and not SOPs.
Okay.
Okay. So let's try and answer this question. Baking a grand cake at home for 50th birthday celebration. Is that a project or operation? What do you guys
It's a
think?
project.
Why is it a project? Why is it a project? What is the keyword you got? You are making a birthday cake. It's unique, right? It's unique. In case you have ordered a birthday cake from a bakery and a bakery guy is preparing that, then it becomes operation for those people. So, yeah, let me, okay. Question number 5. What is this? Is this a project or operation? Watching TV after work every day. So this is operations. Whenever you hear the word every day, every Monday, Tuesday, or every month, or weekly, monthly, yearly, all of those are operations. Quarterly, this is operation. So as a season, okay, let me put another one. 13th question. Give me the answer to this. Is this project or operations for ABC? People, all of you, are you guys there? So this is operations. Why is it operations? Because it's doing every, look at the keywords here: conducting, coaching for this year. So they've been doing it for a long time. So it's operation. They know what can go wrong, how to go about it. They have material and so on. Okay. I would want to move to the second. Give me a minute. I'm just. No, there are no thumbnails here. Give me a minute. Okay. So there are different type of organization types or different organization structures. What are different organization structures? There could be an organization structure which could be matrix or functional or projectized. So this is the organization structure you should know. The main difference, a projectized organization, if you work with, you're going to have people reporting into you. A PM has people reporting into the project manager. Who's the boss here? In case of appraisals, the project manager does the appraisal. People are reporting into him, one boss. So this is projectized organization. If I look at a different type of organization, we would have another organization called functional organization. What are these organizations? Wherein there are functions, where we do operations. Think about, there are companies which keeps the lights on, power department. So there are functions like engineering, networking, or other functions like finance and so on. So here there is one boss. However, there are people who, because the job is ongoing, it would never get terminated. The function is ongoing. So people are going to be reporting into this boss all their life. However, in case project comes in, the project would take backseat because their job, or daily job, is to do function work. So some of the organizations are structured to do both. So these type of organizations are matrix organization. Now, in case of matrix organization, there are functions which you see, and the project, if that project comes in, the people are picked up from different functions and allocated to the project manager. So what happens, and most of us nowadays live in this kind of job environment, wherein a project manager would get people from different functions. Or if you are a person who's a staff member or a team member, you report to different bosses. You report to more than one boss. So you would report to your hierarchical boss, which is your functional head, and you would also report to project, whoever is heading the project. And you might be working on many projects at any point of time. So what happens in these metrics kind of organization is the work gets done, the projects also gets done, but people become slightly confused as to what work should they give priority to. So typically it is the boss or the functional head they would try and give priority to, because that's the guy who's gonna do their appraisals. Now, if you are a project manager in such organization wherein people are coming from different department, how would you motivate them? That's the other challenge which a project manager faces. And there are different theories. We're going to be talking about them in the people management part of the discussion. So for your perspective, just understand that, whenever there is a question which comes in the PMP exam, where would you have most authority as a project manager if you are working with a projectized organization? The balanced authority would be somewhere in the matrix organization, and least authority would be in the functional organization. And there are nowadays, the new type of organization where you work virtually. There may be PMO's person who is the project manager. So PMO driven organization. So this is the hierarchical chart, which will help you understand what kind of organization you are typically work with. Then there are these questions. Let's not get into that. I would want to talk about OPAs and EEFs. So this is the foundation topic called OPA and EF. How many of you have heard this term called OPA, Organization Process Assets, and EEFs, which is Enterprise Environmental Factors? Oh, you have not heard about it. Okay. So let's talk about OPAs and EFs. See, if you are a project manager and you are working, so all of you in this session, for the sake of PMP exam, I would assume that all of you are project managers. You make a plan. Based on that plan, your team is going to be doing the work. There are certain things which are going to help your project plan to become more effective, and there are certain things which are going to be there which you need to deal with. So if you say that, if you get a template of a project plan, would that help you to become much more productive, or it's gonna derail you to become more productive? So anything which helps you, let's say it's a template, or it's the previous project plan which you see, it is lesson learned from previous project manager. Anything which helps a project manager is called OPA. Okay, it's called OPA. What is the full form of OPA? Organization Process Assets. If Tech Mahindra says I'm the best company SI in telecom, do they mean that all the people in Tech Mahindra knows telecom end to end? No, that does not mean that everybody understand BSS, OSS in Tech Mahindra. But what Tech Mahindra signifies by saying they are the best SI in the telecom world? SI is integrator. So if they say they are the best, what does they mean? They means that they have done enough project and they have lesson learned, they have templates, and any project which would be done gonna be learning from them, and the project gonna be optimized to run. So any organization which is mature would have a lot of OPAs with them. What are OPA full form? Helpers. Example, as I said, lesson learned, historical information, and so on. Let's talk about EEFs. What is EEFs? EEFs are limiting factors. They limit the project manager. What are the limiting factors? Think about it. Anything which limits me to do my work as per my desires. So it could be the timings of the project. Let's say you are mapping with the US timings. So it means that you're gonna be reaching in the office around 6, and you have a shift system, and your team majority of the work gonna be done in the nights. So that is a constraint. You would need to ensure that the people who are absorbed in your team, you have to work with those constraint or limiting factors. So it could be anything to do with environment within the organization or outside the organization. It could be, Delhi is very hot and humid. A lot of people say, I used to work in Bombay for some time. And whenever I used to say, Bombay, I'm working, and where are you from? So I used to say, I'm from Delhi. So people used to generally comment, Delhi people do not work. And that's actually correct, because I said, why do you blame Delhi people? It is too hot to work certain times of the year. Then there comes the rain. It is too rainy to go to work. So bad time. And it is too cold to work. So Delhi is like that. You can't do anything about it. So there are weather which can change. There are marketplace condition, dollar vis-a-vis INR value. You can't do anything about it. So it's the marketplace. What kind of political climate are there? If you look at, the Haryana, and you look at Uttar Pradesh, and if you've been watching or looking at that segment from last 10 years, Gurgaon came up very nicely, wherein Noida was not developed that fast. So why it was so? Because of the political climate. Why do you need to work? Maggie has to go. Maggie was stopped for certain time in India. Why it was stopped? Because it could not meet the regulations or food security, food industry standards. So these are the constant. You have to work with. You cannot overrule them. They are there for you to work with. These are called enterprise environmental factors. Questions here? Okay. So let's see the question here, question number 3. If you go through it, let me know, is it OPA or EEF for you as a project manager?
It's an OPA.
Why is it OPA?
Because it has there it has mentioned that to look for a predefined template.
Question number 3.
Okay, yeah.
This is the question I'm talking about, this one. Question number 2 is, yeah, OPA. Let's talk about question number 3. Why is it EEF? Because that's a constant. You have to work with it. You have to have cost for taxi pickup in case organization is born, taking care of that, that's fine. But what if it comes under your project? Then you have to see which place, which location, would you hire women employees, or it limits. So basically what we are looking at, the keyword limitation. Let's look at 4th as well. This is the one I'm talking about right now. Tell me, is it EF or OPA? Is it EF or OPA, people? It is again EF. The reason for that is you are changing the timings. It's constant. You have to work with the timings. You cannot make your own time. It's not helping you. You have to work with the timings. Okay, it is limiting you to work in certain time zones and certain timelines. So it is EF. The last thing, okay, in today's session, let's talk about PDCA. Have you heard this term called PDCA? PDCA. Many of you come from quality background and you might have heard about this. What is PDCA? I plan, then I do, and then I check and act, right? That's the cycle. And typically it is shown like this. I'm going to change it slightly differently. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change it slightly. I'm going to say we plan first. But then when I plan, I would also have my team doing the work. So when my team does the work or do the work, based on the team doing the work, my plan may also change. Are you not able to see my drawings? You can't see it? Okay, so what I do is I'm gonna then share the screen. Can you see my drawings now? Okay. But then you can see only smaller part of the screen, right? You okay with this? Okay. So what do? I plan and I do work. I'm just gonna, so when I plan and my team does the work, so I plan based on certain historical data, template, etc. When my team start doing the work based on their productivity and things like that, my planning may change, isn't it? So planning may evolve over a period of time. But then every Saturday and Sunday, or every Friday or Monday, whichever day you pick, if you do weekly status report, you create something called status report. Some people called it dashboard and things like that. So what do I do in the status report? I see what did I plan for, how much work I have done or achieved. Is there a deviation or a delta? Based on the delta, I say, oh, we achieved whatever we have planned for. I'm happy. So we do something called plan, do, check and act. So if you look at PDCA, the thing is changed. Now I do plan, I do check and act. So planning goes to my team doing the work, and execution gives me input back. And I do monitor and controlling, which is the umbrella process. And here, based on whatever planning and execution has given the inputs, I check and I say, okay, this is how my team is working, and I probably need 2 more people here. So the input goes to planning, the input also goes vice versa to execution. So I have changed the overall PDCA into this diagram. However, PDCA is for operation, right? We keep on doing plan, do, and check and act. And it's a round robin. But for projects, we said a project has a start date, a project starts, and a project ends. So we changed the PDCA to something called initiating, which is the start, and something called close, because the project gets closed. So we start the project. After that, we plan for the project. My team does the work. We do monitor and controlling till I close the project. Does that make sense? Okay. So this is the overall processes. So if you hear the processes called initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, closing, now you know where it has come from. So what happens in initiating? Remember, I told you that, somebody who has the money decides where to put the money towards. So based on the project vision, think Reliance, think Adani, or think Mahindra and Mahindra, saying that, I want to go in aerospace, so I want to make aeroplanes. So somebody think about it, whoever has the resources, and they say, let's start an aeroplane division. And they put up a person who's gonna be taking care of that. And this guy plans for things based on the scope or the vision. And my team does the work. And this guy, who's the project manager, keep on monitoring and controlling. At some point of time, I do get whatever was envisaged or whatever were the business results which were expected by the senior guy. I show it to that senior guy or the portfolio manager. That senior guy, we call that as portfolio manager. Okay, the person who, a person who takes care of the entire portfolio. These are the people like division head. These are the people like, functional head who makes a call. Should we do it? Should we not do it? Should we kill this project? Should we kill all our departmental store line? Amazon thinking about, let's open departmental store. They initially said, let's have a virtual B2B, online store. And now they are coming out with the physical department. So somebody in the Amazon portfolio management said, let's do it. So these are the people who can make a call of starting a new project or killing a project or stopping the project. Okay. So just remember portfolio managers. So I show it to the portfolio manager who may be a customer if the customer has given me the project, or it could be internal within the company itself. So we close the project. What we do in closing, we're going to talk about that later. Any question here so far? Okay. So there are, the broad outline is here. What happens in initiating? There is a sponsor or a portfolio manager. I gave you the word called portfolio manager. The person who has money is called sponsor. He decides that this is what I want to achieve. A charter is prepared to set the objective or measurable business results. And then a project manager is assigned at this point of time. What does this project manager do? He starts off making a broad level plan. He may have something called SMEs. I maximize this window. Okay, give me a minute. 1 second. I'm working with a lot of tools right now. So, okay. Can you see it now? I can't see your chat window though, because I've maximized it.
Yes, continue.
Yeah, okay. So give me a minute. Yes, I think this is better. Yeah. Okay, so there's a project manager which is assigned, and then this project manager start off creating the plans. So I create a lot of plans. What is the work which I need to do? So that is scope management plan. How much time do I need to prepare to give some kind of outcome? What is the money which gonna go in prepare? What are the resources I need? So this guy prepares, not alone, along with certain SMEs, subject matter experts, creates a plan at a high level. The plan gets, and you start getting team members with you. They start doing the work. So the work is done. The team members, if it is planning phase, you might get senior guys. Execution phase, you might get based on the kind of work which you are doing. If you are doing software development, you get developers in that phase. So developers do the work. In case we are doing testing, the testers are assigned and testers does the work. So based on the plan, the work gets done and your plan keeps on getting refined, 3 months or 6 months or whatever. And I keep on checking every Friday I create a report wherein I see what did I plan for, what was actual. Am I behind schedule or ahead of schedule? You guys know these words, right? Am I overspending or do I have money with me? Are there a lot of defects in my deliverable or the defects are under acceptable range? So all of that is checked here in monitoring and controlling. Who checks it? It is typically the project manager who should be the owner who checks planned versus actual. And at some point of time, somebody accepts the deliverable, whoever is the guy who has given you work to do, then this guy is going to be inspecting that work. So there's going to be some kind of inspection or something called acceptance testing. Okay, acceptance. What is acceptance testing? The testing which is done by the customer or the sponsor, wherein they say, oh, what did I give this team to do work? Have they done it? Is it acceptable or not? So when the acceptance testing gives a result of yes, the work is done, then only the project gonna move into a closing state. It could be a phase closure, which means a phase is closed. You might have different phases like planning phase, then development phase, testing, and then handover, and so on. I don't know, based on the kind of industry you are, there could be different phases. So a phase can be closed or an entire project can be closed. So what do we do in closing? We give project handover to operations. Operation could be within our organization or with the customer organization. Warranty can begin. And we communicate to everybody saying that now the project, any errors, any problem can be communicated to this team. So that happens in closing. Okay, so this is the concept of PDCAs. You should know the concept of PDCA is relevant even now. So I'm sorry about this. Let me. Okay. I'm going to be talking in the next class. We are towards the end. In the next class, the answers can lie with you. I can talk about agile life cycles or I can start off with, whatever topic you would want. My suggestion would be in the next class, we talk about agile life cycles and see how different, we do the work, or we pick up an example of predictive life cycle and agile life cycle both, and then we, do the work based on that, whatever you guys say. Any question before I end the discussion? So these are the module end questions, which are very important for you to understand and do, so that you get the concepts. Let me see if I can give you any question on this. Okay, a lot of questions on agile and so on. Let's do this question before we end this particular project. Or let's do this questions. Question number second. Question number second is pretty good. So I'm gonna go back to the chat window so that I can see your answers. Yeah. So what is the answer to this? Question number second. A constraint, yes. That's not the requirement. It has to be ready within 6 months. It cannot change. A requirement may change. You have to plan keeping 6 months in mind. It is a constraint. So even if your project is supposed to get over in 4 months and you are given 6 months, it is still a constraint. So things like, has to be finished within next 6 months. It's a time constraint. You might have constraint like you can have only 2 people in the project. That's a resource constraint. Then it could be like you can use only $1 million for this project. It is cost constraint. So there could be constraint in your project. The first thing you would want to see when you get a project is, are there any constraints with respect to resources, time, or money, and list that down, because your project planning would start in a different way based on the constraints. Okay. Okay, you might want to do first question as well. What is the answer to first question? So let's look at the keywords here. This is a new and complex initiative. So you are doing a project. Requires involvement of other departments. So there are functions which you see, and this is a project which you see, okay? You are given authority to call meetings. At the team member at any point in time is working on multiple initiatives or multiple projects. So you are working as a project coordinator. So there is a project also happening. Okay, so which organization is this? Is it projectized? It is not projectized because you are not the boss of everyone, so not projectized. Is it functional? Functional has only operations running, okay? There is functional head who does the project. There is no project coordinator or project manager which comes into the picture. You have to track progress and flag issues. So you are doing some type of work. Is it functional? Probably. Is it metrics? There are projects happening as well as operations happening. Can it be metrics? Organic is, there is a CEO or there is the proprietor who does the work and 4 or 5 people working there. So this goes out of the context. So out of these two, which one is this organization? What are your keywords? So who's doing the project management here? Are you doing the project management here? Are you planning for projects? Are you coordinating the project? Are you making any decision? So project manager makes decision. A project manager do the planning. A project manager makes a decision, calls a meeting, take appropriate action. Remember that PDCA? So here, because you are not making any decision, you are just tracking the progress and flag any issues so that functional head can do it. That gives you a context of functional organization. This is the right answer. So you would get similar type of complexity questions. So module end has complex question, test you to understand your thought process at a very high level, at the PMP level. So that's pretty much from me for today. In the next session, I'm just gonna talk about next Monday. Give me a minute. We're gonna be talking about agile. So we're gonna be talking about what is agile. If we are only few people, then we would also pick up a case study and do the agile work. And we'll pick up a case study of the project Woofed and work towards making this project as agile project. So this is if you have this book, you can read from this book before you come in this session, and then we can discuss all of this. Any question before I wrap up? So Kamal, you can buy the book from Amazon and it would be delivered to you. Ruth, can you tell the list of people, portfolio manager, sponsor, SME? You would get a lot of roles in the project management domain. The project management domain would have roles like portfolio manager, that program manager, project manager, operation managers. And then in agile world, we have different roles as well. So I'm going to talk about them when we talk about agile next week. So some people are asking me, what is the book like? Give me a minute. Can you see? This is the name of the book, Pass PMP in 21 Days Study Guide. This is the book you might want to buy. Okay, keep this handy because or if you have any other book, you can use that book. Most of the time you're gonna see similar topics in all the books. So if you have any other, that's also pretty okay. is this book enough to pass the PMP? It's the starting point. This book is enough to cover all your PMP concept. After that, you have to do a lot of PMP style of questions so that you can pass the PMP exam. PMP exam is a lot of questions. So this book is going to help you in the first step, which is understand concept. And we're going to be using this book to understand concept. There's no shortcut. People fail in the PMP exam. So let's start with the right set of paths, learning path. The first step is to understand concept. I hope you were able to understand today's concepts. Any other question? Okay, you're gonna find the recording of this meeting in the YouTube as well, and I'm gonna publish it on the LinkedIn group. Subscribe to that group so that you have the recordings with you. And then, we meet again next week, same time. Anything else anybody want to say? Were you able to understand the concept today? Great. I'm happy that you guys liked it. It's going to get complex over a period of time. So it's a good idea that you should go through, you should have something as a study material with you. So have a book with you. Any book is fine, but you need to go back, read the same concept from a book. That's going to help you a lot. So I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining the session, and have a good evening or good night. Thanks. Bye-bye.